Wendy,
Robbie.
your book. Look, there it is. Credenza. It's out. Yep, it's back behind you. It's on the screen. People should go buy it. I read it. It's great. Like all your writing, it's great. It's a lot of fun. I guess fun is not necessarily. I describe a lot of books like that, a lot of horror books, as fun, and then I'm never sure if that people understand what I mean.
No, that's like always such a great compliment to me because that's what I seek out when I read horror and when I like watch horror films. It's like I like that roller coaster effect that feels fun. You get the terror and then you get the little breaks of, lighthearted stuff or something that's funny and I think that I like the juxtaposition of it all. So when someone says that my horror book is fun, that is the highest compliment.
Okay. I mean, it is horrific as well. It's really horrifying by the end of it. Was like wincing at times. But I mean, that's what I want as well. Exactly. I want that in a horror book. I'm not going to try. I'm trying not to spoil it. I don't
It's
want to
hard,
spoil.
isn't it?
I don't want to
It's hard
spoil
to talk
things.
about books without spoiling.
Yeah, but I do have questions, and I'm going to try and dance around things. And people
Okay.
should read it. If you're gotten this far, go read it. Curses, cursed items, curses passed down, inherited. I was thinking of Hereditary the entire time I was reading your book.
Yes.
Even though I think there are part of your book that I like more than Hereditary. And I think it's that trope of generational trauma or mental illness passed down as a curse, the clear parallels. And it's not like Hereditary didn't invent that. That has been like a trope in horror fiction for decades now. However, it feels like you are pushing back against it feels a lot of times a lot of horror fiction that uses that as a motif makes it feel inescapable. Makes it feel like it is a death sentence. And it feels like you're pushing back on that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that horror doesn't always have to be hopeful, but I do like for there to be times where it is, and that's what is the point of having therapy? What is the point of trying to seek out the reasoning for why somebody's the way they are if you can't try to work through those things and be a better person at the end? I think that forgiveness and it's hard to come by a lot of times, and it's not for everyone and it's not appropriate for every situation. But I think that you can look back on just how somebody came to be and how the person before them came to be, and it might help you with whatever you're going through for yourself. If anything you get out of it is to like understand yourself better, even if you're not going to forgive any of the generational trauma you might have been through. So that's my hope for it, is that it comes out a little hopeful. Like I think every family has their stuff, and some's more severe than others. And we also can't live our lives constantly blaming the people that came before us for how our own lives are going. So there's that at play. But yeah, I think that's definitely part of it.
What is that? It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Something like that.
Oh yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. It is there. And there's cause there are lots of themes of belief in this. There's lots of both textual and subtextual of what Veronica, she doesn't necessarily believe in the curse or the supernatural. And you see that echoed back with, different family members, not necessarily believing her mother, believing any of, and I'm pretty sure you're very explicit in this, believing women.
Yeah. Well, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It is the
pink horror.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
believe women.
And Similarly, we watched the newest Final Destination, really, and it occurred to me as I'm like, because we watched a few of the originals before we watched the new one, and I was like, if all of these people just hadn't believed in it, if they hadn't chased it, and if they hadn't gone to warn these people that these things were going to happen, maybe they wouldn't have happened. So yeah, that kind of goes into play in Credenza too, and that like as much as you believe in something and put, I don't know, like take stock in something is how much it'll be real, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I also like, I don't know, there is a matter of having to live with weird stuff in your life, having to stomach it and handle it. Just
Mhm.
it becomes a part of the furniture.
Yes.
Yes, which is, I mean, you made me, you did make me like, it instilled a sense of dread in this big. I like the fact that the credenza is big,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like big and heavy,
It's its
and
own, it's like a monster, right?
it is, yeah, it's
Well,
an awkward and weird, and
And
it's
I know
perfect.
that the idea of like a cursed piece of furniture is kind of strange, but like when you think about it, if you anything that's truly vintage or antique, right? It's been around longer than you or I. It's going to possibly be here longer than you or I. So, like, even something like a piece of furniture, if well taken care of and well constructed, can last really longer than any human life. And so like what has that thing, if it was a sentient thing, what could it have seen and experienced in its long, existence? And so that's always, one of those weird things you think of like at 2 a.m. and you're like, oh, that's a weird thought. But
Write it down. uh and I that leads me to another question, is that, and I think it's another interesting thing about, you write in Florida.
mhm,
Florida is a constant in all the books I've read of yours, and sometimes it seems like a character. And it's not always like, oh, this stuff about, but like, because I'm also in Florida, it's this in this book, it felt very much, and you talk about the power of age, the
mhm,
power of something being old, and
mhm,
we in Florida love to destroy anything that's any building that has, if oh, it's been around for 30 years, knock it down, build a new one.
mhm, mhm,
And there's a couple passages that really focus on, this is the last remaining historic building,
mhm,
this is from 1967 and no one's taking care of it, it's decrepit.
mhm,
um and Veronica is a vintage resaler.
mhm,
And despite the fact that she says she doesn't believe in the supernatural, or she doesn't believe in ghosts or whatever, she does believe in the importance of old things, or at least recognize their value. And
mhm.
is there a part of her that does kind of understand that, you think? Like, maybe not on the surface, but underneath of, like, the intrinsic power, totemic power, it feels like, that's like that in old things, in things that will outlive us.
Yeah, I think perhaps I think also the fact that she feels kind of like an orphan in her own life, and that she has maybe is looking for a nostalgia in a past that she never lived, trying to have some kind of connection to anything because it's just her and her daughter really. She doesn't have any other family. And so I think that curating these items from a past time that had through rose-colored glasses in her mind is a way of making a history for herself. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you can pick that up in the story. She's like, because there you are very, it's very vague about her mother for the longest time, and then and then suddenly she appears, and you're like, oh, what? I mean, and like, I just kind of put it out of my head because it's very clear that she's not a part of her life. But then
Mhm.
suddenly, oh, she's here and
Mhm.
not doing great, it
Yeah.
seems. And I wanted to highlight a particular passage that I really loved, and it's only, like, I think, a single line, but she talks to her through a crack in the door. She presses her mouth to the crack in the door, and it was like, it's not a supernatural thing at all, but it is very, like, I don't know, made me go, like, because you
Oh,
just picture someone's mouth, like, right in a, like,
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
trying to talk to
Well,
you.
like the mother so desperate to talk to her that she's like a toddler. Like if like you've ever, been around little kids and they're trying to talk to their parents while they're taking they're in the bathroom, they will press their whole bodies up to the door and like talk to you through the crack. So I think that was just a way of me kind of showing the mother's desperation to talk to her daughter in
It
that
was
way.
really effective, and it's such a small little thing. And those are the things I love. It's when those little tiny things show up. Um, or where you have I don't know, you have the credenza, the drawers rattle once, like
Mm-hmm.
it's breathing, like it's like it has
Mm-hmm.
like it's just like there's little tiny things that made me think of The Exorcist
Oh, cool.
because at least the movie, it made me think of that because there at one point the drawer next to I can't think of the child's name.
Reagan.
Yeah, Reagan. The drawer just opens. Like it's
Mhm.
such a small
Yeah.
little movement. It's not meant to be, but it's
Mhm.
still like otherworldly and not, and I think that's the nature of a lot of, cursed items
Mhm.
and possessed things. It's like it's supposed
Yeah.
to be about tiny changes in the world
Mhm.
that are unsettling,
Yeah.
unsettling.
And like you were mentioning with Hereditary, one of the things that's so effective to me and like the little things around your world that are changing that are unsettling, just like in the corner of your eye, when she would see the ghost of her mother in Hereditary, and it was just like from like you blink and you're like, did I see it? Did I not? Was it a shadow? Like those kind of things I think are always very effective.
Yeah, I mean the I don't know if I want to tip my hand on the things that happen in Credenza that much, but yeah, those are also those little glimpses that again they are more allusions to the to mental illness and to like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm very stressed out right now. Am I just seeing things?
Mhm.
Am I,
Mhm.
and I don't know. It's very easy to fall into that trap of, oh, well, obviously I'm not. There's not a possessed credenza in my house. I'm just going
I'm just stressed out
crazy.
right
Yeah,
now.
I'm just
Yeah.
stressed out. The star's name is that my mind immediately went to Morning Star, Lucifer, Satan, to like that legacy of children that, although in
Mhm.
themselves, are because they are being basically groomed for some cult.
Mhm.
Was that purposeful, or was that just kind of, am I just reading too much into that?
I think it was more that the her daughter is like her, her guiding star, her like
Okay, all
her
right.
her one thing, like everything is for her daughter. It's all for her. And also because I really like The Lost Boys and I really like the character Star.
Okay,
And so
all right.
in my mind, the main character Veronica also probably liked Star too. So I mean,
That makes
that's probably
sense. Okay. All right. That tells me where my mind's at, where I'm immediately like,
No,
is
but that's
this,
what's really fascinating about being a writer and a reader is that people will pick up and make their own assumptions about stuff, or they will make connections that you never intended, but it works with the story, and it's always so fascinating to see how people interpret your work.
I mean, I always say that as soon as I publish a book, it's not mine anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like people go, "Oh, what did that mean?" I'm like, "Well, I intended it this way, but it doesn't.
But
That
what did
doesn't.
you think?
Yeah, what did you think? What did you like?" And I go, "Oh, well, that works. It's not like
Mhm.
again, what can the text support?" But I mean, I just like it's just. I think because Hereditary was in my mind so much, and like
Mhm.
that movie is about basically like, oh
Mhm.
yes, this child is going to be a carrier for this, this demon or
Mhm.
whatever, and I was like really worried for Star by the end of this. I'm like, oh no, what are they going to do to this poor little girl?
Whenever I write a lot of demonic stuff in my books, but none of it's really denominational. So I'm not ever pointing to any specific religion or belief system they're just creepy demons and they're going to get your soul.
Elder bad guy, elder
Yeah.
evil thing. And
Mhm.
I was gonna say that is I can't really mention because it definitely is a spoiler, but I do like, I don't know, the 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 non-denominational aspect of this. And I was
Mhm.
gonna ask, are we getting? Is there gonna be more? Is there gonna be another story in this? Maybe
A
not a
lot of
sequel,
people
but in the
ask.
world.
Yeah, I have another story that's coming out with Quill and Crow. It's actually an erotic novella, and it's a shorty, but it's kind of related in a way. And it's coming out, I think, next October. Um,
Okay, spooky
Not this
season.
October, but next October. But yeah, I've had some people ask questions about that, and there I might write another one that's a full length that's related. But for right now, yeah, there's another one that's got a little bit of
Connection.
yeah, just some
Mm,
threads.
okay. I mean, that's all you
Which I
need.
like to do in a lot of my stories, like Paulette Kennedy, who you probably know, she likes to just add little Easter eggs in her stories that relate to other stories, and I like to do that as well because I feel like it's very difficult for me to write in a series. I've only been able to do that so far with my Totally Freaked series. I just can't think in the series mindset. It's like
I, I'm the same way, so it's
you
not.
know.
Like if occasionally you do go like, oh, I could write a second
Mhm.
book to that, but it's always I very rarely, at least when I'm writing horror, I'm never going like, oh,
Like what's going to happen to these
what's
people next? Because the
I
thing
mean, like, I mean,
happened.
yeah, the thing happened and they're really messed up or they're
Yeah.
dead. They're not. There's no more story. Like, sorry. And I'm not going to follow. I don't know. I might eventually write a sequel to my Killer Hockey mascot, but that would just be for me. I just want to write another dumb slasher. Um, that's really what I was like. I don't know. It's also when you have a cursed object story, are
Mhm.
you gonna write what just it follows to the next person? I'm like,
Yeah.
eh, it's not. It doesn't have the same power.
Mhm.
They'll in your story, it's about the family connection.
Right.
It's the important thing. If
Mhm.
you the families in I want to probably incontrovertibly changed by the end
Yeah.
of I don't think that's a spoiler. Uh I don't know. I really liked Credenza Wendy. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Uh, are you ready for the second act?
Sure.
Okay, good. We can move on to the second act. Some questions for you. What's a word you hate?
What's a word I hate? On the spot. I'm trying to think. No, I know a lot of people hate the word moist and what's
That was literally the pre
it doesn't bother me.
Haley Newland was our last episode, and that was her answer. Is the word
I
moist?
know so many people hate the word moist. I don't know. I love all words. I'm going to think of it later. I'm going to think of it at 2 a.m. and then I'm going to be like, Robbie, I figured out my word that I hate, and then we can just put it on social media. Wendy remembered it now.
Wendy,
Um,
remember the word. It's okay to
yeah,
say. It's okay to say you can't think of one. That's fine.
I don't know. I like so many more words than I dislike them, but yeah.
I more dislike the idea. I don't. There's words that I don't like. I don't like that there's not enough synonyms for them.
Oh yeah.
Like the word eye.
Uh huh.
There's orb, which I don't
Hmm.
like. I don't like orb. And I'm like, well, I've got to describe some eye trauma. I can't just keep using the word eye over and over. Okay. Or blood. I wish there's more words for blood.
Fluid.
Yeah, like gore, and which gore
Hmm.
is different though.
Hmm.
Scarlet, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think I think Joey from Mad Axe just recently posted something, and I was like, I realized how much I hate that I only have the word gaze or glance for when speaking about directional, and you switch. Oh, he looked over there, but that's telling, whatever. So yeah, like the eye problem, the
Yeah, I
gaze.
mean, that's more of the that's not necessarily the fault of the word. It's
It's
not
just.
it's a more effect of our
Mhm.
vocabulary. Um, who's a writer more people should be reading?
Oh, a writer more people should be reading. Catherine McCarthy, hands down. She's one of my favorites. She's a Welsh writer. She writes Gothic, beautiful. I think her book Immortelle was the publisher for that one closed down, and I think it's going to be re-released by Sobolo soon. Which I'm so glad. Mosaic is another one of hers, which is amazing. It's about stained glass window in a church, and it's Lovecraftian, and just Catherine. I think needs more readers.
Okay, that's why I ask. I want to know.
Hmm.
Oh no, there's a cat. There's a cat. Uh oh, danger mouse, come on. You can't be here. Um, what's the best piece of advice you followed?
The don't check your reviews. Don't
Yeah, I
I
agree.
so I started out writing I started out writing horror short stories, and then I got a gig for a while writing romances. So I was writing paranormal romances and romance thrillers, and then some fun rom-coms here and there. And as a new writer, I checked my reviews, and that was a mistake. And so I as a result, now I write blurbs for my fellow authors, but I pretty much by and large try to stay off of Goodreads and the review space. I still will read and I will post about books that I enjoy and like, but I don't do star ratings, and I don't engage in or read my own reviews unless somebody puts them right in front of my face. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Um,
If they tag you, I will,
yeah, I think that's been,
reshare that.
yeah, of course, but like, I'm not going to seek it out. I think that, it's been hurtful to see, especially from my peers, from my fellow authors, to be negatively rated. And I think that's unfortunate because, people should be able to do whatever they want to do, but it creates it creates a weird dynamic. And then, so it's, ignorance is bliss when it comes to reviews.
I mean, it's the one for your own mental health.
Hmm.
It you don't need. It's not going to make you a better writer. There are people who say, "Yeah, I read reviews because they give me the feedback I need." I'm like, that's not
That's not where
why.
you're supposed to get your
Why
feedback.
aren't? Yeah, don't get feedback from just
Yeah.
random people on the
Yeah.
internet.
And because the people's the way people perceive you work or your work is going to be different from person to person. There's just no reason to be upset if somebody didn't like what you wrote. That's just their, like, and like Lebowski says, it's just like your opinion, man. Like, it's it's not going to kill me. It's not going to make me stop writing, but you get a little obsessive with it. And so, yeah, that's I think that's great advice for anyone that may be struggling with that.
Yeah, don't read your reviews. Unless they're like, I don't know that I will pull a 5-star review to put in an ad or something like that.
Yeah.
But that means specifically clicking on 5 stars only. And generally people are rating your books 5 stars. That's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm a good
Yeah,
writer.
right.
I'm not bad. What's your favorite second act in a novel?
That is a very specific question, Robbie. Let me think. Hmm.
You can pass. It's okay.
My favorite second, because that's actually a really great question, because the middle, I think, is always where it can get really sloggy for writers and for readers. And it's one of the reasons I like to write fast-paced books that, like, you don't get stuck in the mud in the middle. You want to just keep turning the pages.
Yeah.
Um, Let me see. I think maybe I'll yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one. But
That's
I'm gonna be thinking about that because that's a very interesting question.
that was Robert Atone's question for me.
Oh,
He was like, "What's your favorite second act?"
what
I'm
do
like,
you have to say?
he said The Exorcist and The Fisherman by John
Oh,
Langan, which those are, yeah, I agree. Those are both very good books. My answer was The Running Man by
mhm,
Stephen King. Because that is a very propulsive,
mhm,
that book doesn't stop. But that's the same. That's exactly what I said. What you said. I said second acts are hard.
mhm.
Second acts you can lose momentum very easily as a writer and as a reader. Um, what is your grammar hot take?
My grammar hot take. I will say, as a reader, if I see some typos in a manuscript, I don't care. That's my grammar hot take. I think that if 95% of the manuscript looks like it's been edited and it's done, maybe not, that's a little generous, but like, some people really get caught up, and that's fine if that's what you do, but like, I don't care. I can mentally add a comma that was forgotten. I can mentally add the E on the end of a word that might have been, if I'm really enjoying a story, I don't care about that.
I mean, I'm right there with you. And also, I will be as openly inflammatory as possible and say, don't be a pedant. Who cares? That's
Yeah.
what I would say to people who find typos.
Yeah, story and my enjoyment of the story is always more important than mechanics, and that's just kind of, you know, that's
I've been in a room of a book club where someone found a typo and was and this was a traditionally published big
mhm,
5 book,
mhm.
and I found a typo. I'm like, who cares,
You
man?
can
Like,
pick
is this you're upset about this of
you
all
can
things?
pick up any book on my bookshelf and find at least one typo, whether it was traditionally published or indie published.
It
It's
doesn't
just
matter. I mean, it's hard. They're hard to find. It's
yeah.
not. There's a if like a 50,000 of 100,000 words. That's
Mhm.
a lot of opportunities for mistakes. What's the book that rips out your heart?
The book that rips out my heart. I'm trying to think now. Book. Um, hmm. I'll say one of them is The Yearling by Marjorie Kinnons Rowling.
Yep.
And it's not a horror book, but it is a
No.
Florida book. It's a
And
Florida goth. It's
uh,
a little
pe-
gothic in a way.
people should read The Yearling. I don't think that's controversial. I grew up on The Yearling.
Hmm.
We took field trips to
Hmm.
her house. I've been there like 10 times probably.
There's another book called Swamplandia that lives rent free in my head. It's another Florida gothic kind of book that's not really horror, but more like literary with horror elements. And so that's another one that's really sad. Recently read Junie, and the author's name is escaping me at the moment, but that's another story that is about from the point of view of a slave girl right before enslavement was ended in our country, and that was another great one that I read this year that was excellent and
Okay.
and stuck with me.
Those are see that's I'm not I never like when people go, "Oh, what book should I read?" I'm like, "Well, don't
Yeah.
it's not I'm not I read more than horror. Everyone should
Well,
read more than horror
yeah,
books."
same. I'm a pretty wide reader. I like to read everything.
Yes, and that's what I tell people. Read everything. Literally, don't limit yourself. When people are like, "I only read this. I only read that." I'm like, "You're missing out. There's
Yeah.
great books everywhere."
Mhm.
Um, do you believe in writer's block?
For myself, probably not, but I believe that other people probably experience it.
Very
I've just
diplomatic.
yeah, I mean, I I guess that's not entirely true. I blocked myself from writing for a very long time while I was doing the career in college and raising small children thing for a very long time. And I kind of gave myself this narrative that you don't, it's not your time. You can't write right now, and there's too much going on. And so, you know, probably for a course of 10 years after I graduated from college, I only very sporadically did creative writing, but it's always been something I've done my whole life. And so I think that now that this is what I get to focus the majority of my time on, it's all I want to do. It's unfortunately it's become my only creative outlet, and I used to do a lot of other crafty stuff and artistic stuff, and a lot of that just kind of has gone by the wayside because writing gets all of my creative energy. So
I mean, it
yeah,
does. It is very taxing.
yeah.
It requires a lot, especially when it becomes effectively a career. You
And
know,
just a lot
it's
of sitting time too. Like I don't want to like you spend all your time sitting doing this, and then you want to get up and do something active.
yeah. I mean, that's I try and it is easier when it's not 100 degrees outside and 100% humidity to go on a walk with an audiobook or something. But
Yeah.
lately, unless you're walking at nighttime, it's too hot in Florida. Um, what's a question you want to ask the next guest?
A question I want to ask the next guest. Name your favorite horror book written by a woman or a
Okay.
femme person.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions I got for you, Wendy. Well, I have a couple other, but I'm not going to exhaust all of them on you. Are you ready for some blood?
Depends on what you mean by that.
It's that's I feel that's my so far that is my transition to the final part of the show, which is struggling with a work in progress or anything. If you don't want to talk about a current thing, which is fine,
Yeah.
talk about something you've done in the past, a struggle you've had, be it mechanically
Hmm.
or philosophically, ethically, whatever, ethos, whatever it would be.
Sure. So mechanically, so the last project I've completed, well, I did a novella in between, but two of my I'm trying to go for more long form. So I'm kind of like focused on novellas and short stories for the majority of my writing career, and I'm really trying to push out longer form. And so focusing on that instead of answering the the little like story, what do they call them, like you just like you get an idea for another story, like, oh, I'll just write the short story instead, just keeping focus on a longer work. And then I'm finding that these longer, 50, 60, 70,000 word novels that I'm really trying to focus on are a little darker than what I typically do. And so I'm really trying to I'll try to do like a lighthearted novella and like a fun horror novella in between, because I think that the novella size is better for the fun. But now that I'm getting into the longer form, like these darker themes, and something that I struggle with all the time in all my writing is not trying to make sure it doesn't seem like I'm self-inserting too much, because I do, I do mine my own experiences, and I think that that's important, particularly for the pink horror genre that I like to write in. I want it to come out through as genuine, and this is coming from a real experience. This is some, but at the same time, not basing characters on real people in my life, or not basing things that happen, like not putting too much of my personal life on the page. I think that that's something that I always have to try to remind myself of, when I'm, but at the same time still creating a story that is authentic to my lived experience.
Are you worried people are going to read it, be upset?
Oh, well, it's another thing that kept me from publishing and from writing. Like, I think I was 38 when I had my first story published. And when I was younger, I was always afraid of letting people read my work that knew me, because I was afraid that they would think that it was like my diary entry or something. And so, yeah, I think that that's probably something that a lot of people struggle with, and hence pen names.
Yeah. I just don't have it in me. Like there's a lot of people. I have someone, maybe my closest friend is about to be publishing a book, and she is thinking of using a pen name because she doesn't want her personal life,
Mhm.
intermixed with what she's writing. But to me, like I just don't have that in my head where I'm like,
Yeah.
I say fuck them. Who
Well,
cares? They
it took
should.
me, yeah, definitely took me to being in a place where I was older and more secure about myself, to being like, well, I don't care anymore. So it's just.
Yeah. It's interesting that everyone's answer so far has nothing to do with, no problem just with getting a scene they're trying to get a scene right. It's never that. Every single answer, I'm like keeping track. I'm like, how many people's answers is going to be something that has
Nothing to do with
nothing
actual
nothing
mechanical
actual
writing.
mechanical writing, which is,
Yeah.
that's fine. There's also that,
Mhm.
I mean that's a big part of it, is when you're a writer, it's the lifestyle challenges of like
Mhm.
balancing family and personal life and finding time for
Mhm.
writing, and the many, I don't know how to frame it, but the
Pitfalls.
yeah, exactly, things like that, or
Yeah.
heavy themes in the writing, that mental health
Mhm.
struggle as you write something really really awful and challenging, and you're like, oh, I need to take a break, like you just described, writing a fun little novella in
Yeah.
between.
Mhm.
Does it does that help exercise the demons, so to speak, the fun novella?
Um, I think it's just more so it's like it's a treat for me. It's just like I went from like, writing 70,000 words based on something horrible that happened to me 20 years ago. And now I'm going to write something that's fun and based off of something fun that happened to me 20 years ago.
More birthday party, Christmas party demons.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
I mean, I do. I'm very excited for Christmas party. I
It's fun. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be even more fun than the first one.
that book really caught me off guard, and I really liked it.
Oh, thank you.
The next one is going to be also great. That's how you guys can all pre-order that right now.
Mhm.
Christmas Party Demon, go get it. I'll put a link to that in the show notes.
Thank you.
People should buy all of Wendy's books. Wendy has a lot of books. You should buy them all. I own most of them. I don't own all of them. I need to finish my collection.
Thank you.
No, but it's the I always when I framed the show this way, it was I was like, oh, we're gonna talk about nuts and bolts. We're gonna talk about adverbs or some nonsense. But every writer's like, that's not a big deal. I can handle that. That stuff's easy.
Yeah, I think that that's probably true for a lot of writers. I think a lot of writers know how to do the craft of writing. I think that it's just the managing the ever-changing expectations and the ever-changing landscape of publishing is the real challenge. And, like figuring out how to get seen, figuring out which publishers are going to actually have your best interests in hand at heart. Where is it best to put my energy so that I can find more readers and, that sort of thing. It's that's the hard part of being a writer that little 10-year-old me couldn't even comprehend when I thought that I wanted to write as an adult for a living. So
no, and I think there's a lot the questions about how do I do this? How do I, on the page, how do I get that done? They are not like, it's not like you don't think about it, but a lot of times those questions answer themselves, and it's different for every project. And they don't persist. We are constantly trying to, how do I make people buy my books? How do I get bigger? How do I sell more books? How do I find more readers? How do I not upset someone for some reason that I didn't foresee, saying something I didn't
you
mean?
always will, just by existing.
Exactly.
Happen.
Yeah, that is what I have also settled on. You're going to upset people just by doing anything. Wendy, tell people where they can find you online, plug all your books, all that stuff.
So you can always find me at my website, www.wendydalrymple.com. I'm mostly active on Instagram and sometimes Threads and TikToks. Those are TikToks, man, TikTok. Yeah, so those are my three main spaces where I go and hang out online. And yeah, so I have, as you said, Christmas Party Demon coming out in this December from Mad Axe Media. I also have an anthology, Poison Soup for the Macabre, Depraved, and Insane, that I co-edited with my pal Grace Reynolds, and that's coming out from Bridget's Gate Press sometime in December.
I need to get you both on this show. I want you both to be on this for that.
Oh, that would be so great. We'd be so happy to come and talk to you. Yeah, it's going to have a lot of great authors in it. And just, it's a collection of essays, short stories, poems, and little vignettes about people's experiences with horror and what drew them to horror, and taking comfort in horror is the idea of this anthology. So yeah, I have those two things coming out the rest of the year. And then in February of next year, I will have Bedrot Baby coming out with Quill and Crow Publishing.
You're Wendy, the hardest working woman in horror. It feels like you always have more. You're the person who has more stuff than me, and I have a lot.
You do have a lot. You are also very prolific. So.
Yes, but it's I go, everyone should read Wendy. Wendy's constantly publishing things. You are the hardest working woman in horror, I would say. Wendy, thank you for appearing on my show.
Thank you for having me. And try to stay out of the heat.
Yeah, exactly. Stay cool.